Pas de soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil, Florida. Pas de soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil, Florida.
Hi everyone, my name is Khushi and welcome back to my channel. This is my booktube channel where I talk all about books I love and don't particularly love. This is Benjamin, who is currently admitted in the hospital for a sickle cell crisis. And madness, because he's been in here for months now. And we're hanging out in the hospital today, and I am asking for his help to review the two books I have read recently for the Asian Readathon. I'm doing the Asian Readathon hosted by With Cindy. It's done every year for Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. That was a mouthful. I'm currently struggling with reviewing these books.
Why is that?
Because I am struggling.
It's because the books are what one would call aggressively mid.
No. What is aggressively mid? That is not a rating. You
Anything
can't go
can be
on
a rating.
Goodreats
Oh my
and
God.
say,
If
by the way,
Tomatoes can be a
this
rating for a film, you can.
book is aggressively
I rate
mid.
this film 9 out of 8 lizards. Yeah, and you know what that would be? That would be like a mediocre rating. Why?
Lizard
Because it can be.
Lizard is not a standard to live up to. So the first book I'm going to talk about, or attempt to talk about, is You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arafat. And I read this for prompt 2, which is a book that has an Asian character who is a woman and or older. I clearly focused on the woman part because I don't think this character is that much older than me. Can you focus on the video we're filming?
I am.
In this story, we follow a young Palestinian American woman, and it's about her relationship with her mother, her relationship with two parts of her identity, which is being Palestinian, but also living in America and growing up in America. Also, the fact that she has a love addiction, which means she can't really healthily sustain any of her relationships.
That doesn't really sound like a love addiction at all. That just kind of sounds like an inability to commit. But
Yeah, but that's part of a love addiction. When you have a love addiction, you also tend to not be able to commit properly to the relationship you're having. You end up self-sabotaging. You're looking around at other people and having flirtatious conversations, even if you're not actively cheating on your partner.
because you're just craving that love.
Yeah, you are craving the attention. That is technically what love addiction is. And this is the first book I've ever read where the character, we just don't know what the person's name is. So that was very interesting.
Why can't you race it?
I can't read this book. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's too fresh in my mind. Maybe I haven't thought about it enough or reflected on it enough. I just don't know how to rate this book because there's a part of me that didn't like it, but also a part of me that found the things it talked about very interesting. I feel very conflicted, so I do not know how to rate this book.
Did any of it feel like close to home?
For me personally, no, but I have seen people who have been through similar things. I am cutting that part out because you are not going to come on my channel and tell me how to say words. No.
Fair enough. This may be slightly tangential, but to me, it just kind of sounds like depression as opposed to love addiction. I must admit my own ignorance. I don't really know what love addiction is, but just judging by, being, queer with a conservative parent, specifically a conservative mom, you also, she identifies as a woman, isn't it?
Yes.
Like an obsession with, like that, the honeymoon period almost. It does sound similar to depression, at least as far as I understand it to be.
Okay, one, I myself didn't know love addiction was a thing before I read this book. So, the more I know. So our character does go to therapy, and we do see the therapy process, like bits and pieces of it. She is diagnosed with this thing. She goes to therapy for this thing. She's trying to move forward and break patterns that this thing has put her into. So, yeah, there is depression, but I also do believe that she does go through this thing. And it's difficult with the whole mother thing because you do see her wanting affection and acceptance and validation more so from women. Like, even though she has loved men and been with men, there's more of an emphasis on her relationship with females in this book, which, yeah, I'm sure has a lot to do with her mother and her own relationship with her mother.
Okay.
Okay, like Charlie, like.
Would you say that this read is difficult? You said that you had like some difficulties like getting through it.
So the book is about 258 pages long, which is not very long at all considering some of the other stuff I read. And I expected it to be, a breeze, a very quick read. But I did struggle to pick this book up. Like, I would feel like it's work. And when a book feels like it's work, it's most likely to lead me into a reading slump. I think the main reason I struggled with this book was because I couldn't get myself to form a connection or like the main character. Like, don't get me wrong, I do sympathize with everything and understand the things and the difficulties this character goes through.
Yes.
And it's very difficult. Like, it's hard going through the things she's been through, but that doesn't necessarily make her a very nice person. Anyway, I couldn't get myself to like her all that much. I couldn't have a connection, and I'm the kind of person, if I don't have a connection or feel a particular way about the main character of a book, then I struggle to read that book. It's very much like a diary journal situation where all we ever hear is this character's point of view, and all we ever know is this character's feelings and stuff. So yeah, I struggled a little bit. I mean, to give it props though, I was curious to see what would happen with the character and where the story would take her, and if her therapy would help her in the end, and if she would improve overall mental health wise. But yeah, the only thing that got me through this book was curiosity in some ways, I guess. I don't know if it was a bad read, because I did learn a lot. I do understand a lot of where this book is coming from.
Is it a book that you would recommend to people? Not necessarily people like yourself, but just in general.
I don't think I would actively push this book out that much just because I don't know how to speak about it or how I feel about it. It's a little bit like On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, but while I give On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous 5 stars with no complaints, I do not know what to do with this book. To wrap up the review for this one, I would say it's not what I expected. When I picked up this book, I expected more of a story about cultural differences and how she belongs to two very clashing cultures, I would say. And we did get a lot of that, but the primary focus of this book was the love addiction, which I guess I should have seen coming if I just read the back of the book properly, but I didn't. So it doesn't make the book bad. I was just very surprised. So the next book I picked up for the Asian Readathon was for the first prompt, which is read a book by an Asian author, and I picked How to Kidnap the Rich by Rahul, Raina. This part of the video is going to be very short, and you will find out why in exactly 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. I didn't finish it.
She's a fraud!
Okay, 1, I have been insanely busy. But excuses aside, I did find the first 70 pages dragging.
The book sucks, okay?
The book actually didn't suck.
Then why didn't you finish it?
Because I'm
Full of excuses, we know that part. Why didn't you finish it?
okay, just because I don't like a book as much doesn't mean it sucks.
That is a very fair rebuttal to what I just said.
What was I trying to say?
So you were coming up with an excuse as to why you didn't finish this book.
I have. I will actually. It's okay though. Never again. This person will never again be on my channel. I am so sorry. I have read about 125 pages of this book, and this book is around 292 pages long. So, a third? That's a third, right? I have things to say, even though I haven't finished this book. What I will say is, I do plan to read this book and complete it. I'm not gonna DNF it forever. I decided that instead of rushing to finish this book on a time schedule for the Asian Readathon, this is a book that I'm gonna take as slow as I need to and let myself read it over a longer period of time, because while I'm not struggling with the book, I haven't clicked with it just yet. And I can't lie, I'm very excited for the next book I want to read for the Asian Readathon. So I'm not going to DNF this book. I'm just going to take it a lot slower than I initially wanted to. You have any questions for me?
First and foremost, what's made it difficult to, make progress?
I think there's a slight pacing issue in the first couple of chapters. We spend a lot of time getting to know the main character and his past, which is good, but I do also like it more when these kind of things happen spread out over the course of a book instead of just everything happening in the beginning. So when you read this book, it feels like a friend is talking to you, because there's all of that Hindi slang, cultural references only Indians mostly would recognize, and just like certain Hindi words. You feel like a friend is talking to you. But at the same time, there's also like this beautiful, like descriptive writing going on, and sometimes I do feel like it's a bit too much. I'm not sure I'm feeling it completely just yet in terms of writing style. And there's also the fact that this book would be very good for someone who doesn't know India very well. I'm an Indian. I understand how India functions. I understand the feel of India, Indian people, Indian streets, what Delhi is really like. I get these things within myself. So for me, when writing like this, like beautiful but trying a little hard, reiterates the same things that I already know, I find it a little boring. So yeah, those are the things that made the beginning of this book a little hard to read. I would say it only starts properly moving like 70 pages in, 80 pages in.
She's way too long.
I have to say though, the beginning of this book is very interesting. Like within the first chapter, we find out that the main character is kidnapped with this one other person, and he has lost his finger. I can see why the Waterstones employee suggested it to me and said it would be funny, because yes, it is dark. It's a kidnapping. This man's lost his finger, but the way he's telling us his story is honestly quite funny, and his perspective and outlook on life is just so unique when it comes to like when you're reading a book about stuff like this. I haven't seen it in a while, so it's nice.
125 of these glorious pages. What would you rate it?
Like at the moment, even without finishing the book?
Yes.
2.75 stars.
2.7? This is the most arbitrary nonsense I've ever heard in my life. So you can't have it out of lizards, yeah, but you can have 2.75 stars. What is... That's not even half... How would you quantify? How would you show a graphic of that?
2.75 stars. That is my
2
rating.
points.
I am excited to see if it does pick up and how the character got to the position he was in the first couple of pages. I'm gonna take it slow, I'm gonna take it in my pace and read it side by side with whatever books I choose to read next. So what I'm saying is this book is not necessarily a priority read at the moment.
But yeah, somehow 2.75 stars.
Yeah, because I mean, I have to say it is funny at times. The comedy goes in and out. I wish it was more consistent, but there is comedy here. All of that being said, this has been a very interesting reading week for my Asian Readathon, and I wanted to update you guys, and I wanted to be slightly fun, even though it was massively difficult.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
You heard the man. If you like this video and if you like the kind of stuff I post on this channel, I would say like, comment down below. Tell me what you've been reading recently, or books you've been struggling to read, or books you do not know how to rate, and how your Asian Readathon is going. I would love to talk to all of you. I respond to all of my comments just so I can get to know all of you better. Click that notification bell so that you don't miss out every single time I post a new video, and subscribe. Join the family. Don't you see we have a lot of fun here? I would love to have you all. We're building a wonderful community here. Thank you so much for all your support and for watching this video, and I will see you very, very soon with a special video that I am so excited for. In fact, this might be the video that I was most excited to do since I planned to do the Asian Readathon. It's a great book. I have some fun activities planned for that book and in that vlog. So it's gonna be a fun time. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. I love you all so much. Mwah! Bye!